Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to look at what I thought was an interesting newspaper article that ran in a Youngstown, Ohio newspaper way back in 1947 after Steve had won the Mr. America. So September 5th, 1947, a Youngstown, Ohio newspaper ran this article. Vet follows dumbbell way to become most beautiful. Now, I know that when Steve won Mr. America, he took a lot of ribbing from his stepdad, Earl Malone, and some relatives who thought it was funny that he was voted the most beautiful man, when in fact it was more of a physique contest than a beauty contest. And Steve would have the last laugh because he went on to become the #1 movie star in the world and influenced an entire generation. So I'm going to read the article here, and then I'm going to provide some timeline, because in the article, Steve talks about what he ate after the Mr. America contest. Oakland, California, September 5th. Here's how Mr. America adds up. Age 21, weight 215 pounds, height 6 feet 1 inch, neck 17.5 inch, arm, we know that's wrong, it says 13 inch, but that would have been 18, 17.5, 18 inches, chest normal, 48.5, 49.5, expanded 51, waist 29, thigh 25.5, and calf 17.75. That's Steve Reeves, Oakland boy, whose Ripley muscles make feminine hearts flex, winner of the recent Beautiful Man contest, which gave him the title Mr. America. Steve developed his beautiful proportions the dumbbell and barbell way after he got out of the Army. Well, we know he actually started working out before he went into the Army, because he started at age 16.5 in his Oakland garage after he saw his friend Joe working out in Joe's garage. Joe had beat Steve in an arm wrestling contest, and Steve was determined to find out how Joe was stronger than him, because Joe was smaller in stature, in which he had served 28 months, 19 of his military service overseas. He started daily exercises at an Oakland gymnasium, that would have been Yark's gym. His sole purpose, to build resistance to malaria after 7 attacks. Well, this is interesting because whoever the reporter was, they must have interviewed Steve for this article, because they know his measurements, they know that he went into the military, they know that he trained at an Oakland gym. So I have never heard that Steve's sole purpose was to build resistance to malaria. Now, that's interesting to me. That was last November. Within 2 months, he had won the title Mr. Pacific Coast. 2 months. 6 months later, in Chicago, he was crowned Mr. America, winning over 47 other contestants in the event sponsored by the AAU. The Muscle Man's daily program runs something like this. So here we're going to look at what a typical day was like for Steve. And once again, I don't think a reporter would be able to make this up. They would have had to have gotten some of this info from Steve. Up at 7:30 in the morning, breakfast at 8, Oakland gym at 9 for a 2-hour workout. And that sounds about right, because we know that he was training full body, and that took anywhere from 2 to 2.5 hours. In good days, good weather days, to the beach for hand balancing practice with a partner. On cloudy days, an afternoon of reading at home. It takes a lot of food to keep the biceps bulging. Steve's average breakfast includes half a grapefruit, cereal with honey. I wish I knew what kind of cereal. Raisins and a sliced banana. 3 soft-boiled eggs, ham, sausage, or bacon. I'd never heard that he ate ham, sausage, or bacon, but this was after the Mr. America contest, so he was a little bit more free with his diet. 4 pieces of whole wheat toast with butter and jam or jelly, and 2 glasses of milk. I would assume that is goat's milk. He forswears coffee, tea, and alcohol and doesn't smoke. Lunch usually consists of a large salad, 2 cheese sandwiches, 2 glasses of milk, probably goat's milk, and an orange or an apple. As a snack, he likes to whip up a milkshake of a pint of ice cream. Okay, that's a new one for me. Also milk and a couple of bananas. He cooks for his mother and makes his own clothes on a sewing machine that his mother taught him to do both, cooking and sewing. Oakland's Adonis prefers blondes. Still fancy-free, he wants his future wife to be better looking than average with a nice figure. She doesn't have to be an athlete as long as she cuts a good figure on the beach, and he doesn't want her too smart. You have a hard time saying that these days. He likes the glances and remarks from feminine wolves, but refused to pose with any girls. Now, I'm not sure where that happened. There's lots of pictures of Steve posing with girls. So there's the article. Let's look at the timeline. So he had an honorable discharge from the Army, October 1946, at 20 years old. He won Mr. Pacific Coast, January 1947. So he was 20 years old, and then he turned 21 in January. So during this time period, he won 2 contests. He won Mr. Pacific Coast in January, and then he won another contest. This is where there's a little confusion as to whether it's called Mr. Pacific Coast or Mr. Western America. After that, he trained for 6 months and he won Mr. America, June 1947, at 21 years old. He went on to, and by the way, there is a picture of the Mr. America first place trophy. And I took a screenshot of this a while back, and you can see somebody was selling that for $47,000, the 1947 Mr. America first place trophy. I don't believe it ever sold, but if it did, I hope it went to a bodybuilder. We want to keep this stuff in the family. Around that time, he was looking like this, and I posted this on Instagram, and this got a lot of attention. You can see how he looks, sort of bulked up in this picture, but then he's still got that very small waist. Here is a photo from a 1947 newspaper article which shows Steve training at Yarrick's. I also posted this on Instagram, and it's probably been very rarely seen. I had never seen it prior to this, and it looks like he is doing some behind the neck pull downs. So he went to New York to become an actor on September 22nd, 1947. So he went to New York shortly after this article was published, and that's where he had gotten a letter from I believe it was the Wallace Talent Agency in New York, and they helped him switch from chiropractic school, which is where he was going at the time, and get into acting school, and the GI Bill helped pay for that. So there's your timeline of all of this stuff that transpired from the time that he got out of the service all the way until he went to New York. So I added all that up. For breakfast, the grapefruit, and for cereal, I just put rolled oats because we know that Steve was, a pretty healthy eater, and his mom taught him about nutrition. I put 3/4 of a cup of rolled oats. I put 15 raisins. I put 1 banana, 3 soft-boiled eggs or hard-boiled eggs. I put 3 eggs. 2 pieces of just regular bacon, 4 slices of toast, whole wheat, butter, a tablespoon, and 1 tablespoon of jelly. I'm guessing. I came up with 1,075 calories for breakfast. And if we look at lunch, I entered 2 servings of a house salad. I entered 2 cheese sandwiches. I just went with grilled cheese, not knowing, did he put mayonnaise on there, butter? I have no idea. I put 16 ounces of goat's milk, and I put 1 apple. That comes up to 1,492 calories. Now, I know at this time for dinner, he would typically eat steak, chicken, fish. Remember, his mom was into nutrition, so she taught him how to eat healthy. So I really guessed on this one because the newspaper article didn't mention what he had for dinner. I put chicken breast, 8 ounces, and 2 servings of a house salad. I know later that was sort of his preference. He would have steak, salad, and he would keep it to swordfish or chicken or steak. Of course, he was known to eat lasagna here and there. One of his favorite restaurants was Caro's and Prime Rib, but that was later on when he was older. We're talking about when he was 21 years old, 2021. And then for a snack, I put a pint of ice cream, vanilla. I have goat's milk, 4 ounces, and then I have 2 bananas, and that's 1,025 calories. And then lastly, I put for his exercise, weightlifting, 2 hours at 920 calories. So if we look at the whole day here, we have 4,186 calories, which is pretty high. We have 196 grams of protein. So he was not eating quite 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, if we believe that what I've listed was close to what he ate. We have a lot of carbs, 463 grams. But if you're working full body 3 times a week, you need a lot of energy, you need a lot of carbohydrates. Sugars, I really don't think he was eating this ice cream shake every day. 262 grams of sugar. I'm guessing that was just sort of to spice up, when he was talking to the reporter. I'm just guessing. I really don't think, though, that he would be eating a milkshake every single day with that much sugar. And then fat, 175 grams of fat. Wow. Now, I train high school athletes, basketball, football players, and, I really try to watch their sugars. This would be very high, 262 grams of sugar. The fat content would be very high. So really, this is just a ballpark educated guess based upon what the newspaper article says. So there you go. I thought this was interesting, and I think you'll like it too, because we've never really seen Steve's meal by meal diet. He's never really mentioned that, especially during these years. All right, guys. Well, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Hope you subscribe. And if you have any questions, leave comments, leave your questions below. And I look forward to having a conversation about this video. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.